I didn't mute some of my stuff that I use to monitor things. Well, hello and welcome to Bets to the Bottom, where bottom class people drinking bottom shelf booze. I am the Reverend JP, and that, oh, I did it kind of correctly, is muted.
Am I still muted?
I muted you, and I forgot to unmute you from when I was setting up to go live. Well, as I said, I am totally prepared for this podcast, but I'm still going to screw it up. Had everything prepared for a couple of days now because, shit went awry and I didn't go to work because complicated shit. And I can hear Maverick in the background.
Can you now?
Yes. The Mav is in the background. Can you hear it?
I mean, at least it's a promo, right?
It is. Oh. Everything goes off just smooth as butter right here on Best of the Bottom. Because we're bottom class people drinking bottom shelf booze. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please do us a huge, huge favor and hit those like buttons, give us a subscribe, and share. And you know what? While you're at it, if you want, hit that bell icon and get the notifications going. And then you will know when we're up to our shenanigans. We're here live on twitch.tv/bottom class every Monday at 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We have audio versions available at bestofthebottom.podbean.com, which I know I'm behind and I keep getting further behind because I forget shit. And that's one thing I forget all the time. But you know what? There's lots of versions available. And we have a website, Perico Productions, pericoproductions.com. We have merchandise, and if you want to donate to us, we'd appreciate that too. Because, we're just a couple of jackasses trying to entertain and make a buck. Ugh. And I apologize. My allergies are going to be rough today because I ran out of Zyrtec and I keep forgetting to go buy some. So, shit in a tuna can. I don't know, whatever. But some of the things we like to do on this podcast is we have a Florida Man segment where we read headlines and make up what's going on. We will be reviewing bottom class boozes. This one's not as bottom class. It's a microbrewery. We'll be drinking Dragonfire from Bishop Ciders. Be talking about the shit show that was Dark Side of the Ring, Plane Ride from Hell. Dan, did you actually watch it?
I actually did.
Oh, okay. Good. So you'll actually know what I'm talking about. Thank God.
Most definitely.
This is going to be a difficult conversation if you didn't watch it. But before we get this ball officially rolling, there's one thing we like to do to get started, and that is going to be called the Bag of Doom. In this bag, we have a handful of shots. The random, mysterious, fascinating shots that will blow your mind and rock the ages. Let's get a bunch of random stuff. We draw from it, and then we have to take a shot of whatever's in here. Good, bad, indifferent. It doesn't matter. It's ours. We have to take it. And Diane, you go first.
Guitar.
What'd you get?
Western Sun Gin.
Ew, that sounds terrible. Because I don't like gin. Oh,
It tastes like a pine, like a forest,
yes.
Pine trees.
It's like licking the forest floor.
Yeah. I think it's an adventure, fantasy type stuff.
And I got Western Sun Gulf Coast Lime.
Yours does sound better though.
Yes. Well, mine's
I'll be
Gulf
honest.
Coast Lime. Maverick watch it, but still doesn't know what I'm talking about. Well, you know what? It's all about listen to what I mean, not what I say. That's the key to understanding what I'm talking about. Is it's the verbiage might be all askew, but there is a message there, and you have to understand the meaning behind that message. It's just like going to church. There you go. Da, 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 da. Vegas Vargas is in the hizzy. Hello. Now, Diane, cheers to I don't know. This show's been this week has been a shit show. So cheers to next week not being a shit show.
Hopefully. I mean, yes.
Yeah. Hope this tastes good. Not terrible. Not great. Definitely very fresh limey. I'd say the only beneficial thing that happened this weekend is I got a fresh ink.
You got it already?
I thought you saw it. I had it when I came up to.
I didn't see it. You didn't say, hey, look at what I got.
Actually, wait. Did I have this in, or did I get the?
Last time we talked was not last time we talked, but last time we did with this podcast. You were
Oh
talking
no! I got this after. Because I text my son after I got back from dropping off stuff at your house, at Maverick's house, and then he gave me the Captain Anarchy tattoo. So that is the good news of what happened last week. Everything else has been rough. Can't even talk about some of it right now because it just was rough. We'll just go with that. But let's get on with this interesting show that's going to be happening. One of the things we like to do is the Florida Man. And in the Florida Man, what we do is we find a Florida Man headline. We read the headline and nothing further. And then it is my job to come up with some sort of a story. So let's see what's on the docket tonight. Moonbeam's in here. Hello. Now, for this week's Florida Man, a Florida man gets probation for picking up and transporting 41 turtles. Now, you see, this man once worked for a company called TCRI for Techno Cosmic. Fuck, what was it? Techno Cosmic Research Institute. And yes, he was transporting some ooze home one night when he dropped it from the bed of his pickup truck. And it spilled down into the sewers in New York City, which created some mutants. Yes. And see, over the years, the lore of the mutants has grown far and wide and has spun many franchises and movies. But this man realized what potential there is if he can recreate these mutants once again. And with his last bit of ooze that he had from TCRI, he broke into a local, what the hell do you call a zoo full of reptiles? I know there's a reptile room. An aviary? No, that's a bird sanctuary. I don't know.
I feel like I know this.
It's a specific thing. A
And I'm
terrarium?
willing to something like that.
Well, anyways, he broke into this place, attempting to steal multiple turtles. As many as he get his hands on. Snapping turtles, box turtles, sea turtles, turtle sundaes, all of them. Anything turtle he could get his hand on. And unfortunately, he was damn fool. He tripped the alarm on his way out. Ah, yes. Because of his meth addiction, he was too shaky when he was opening the cage, and he tripped the alarm.
God, I love the idea of the birth of the Ninja Turtles having something to do with meth. That would be amazing.
And he tripped that alarm. He knew he was fucked. But he grabbed all the turtles and he bolted. And he ran for the border. Unfortunately, he went south. He couldn't get to Cuba. There's an ocean in the way. And there, he was busted. But luckily, they sought pity on him. Most because still had connections to TCRI, and they didn't want all that. They didn't want to rehash all the issues with the ooze and everything else. So they just let him take the fall as just an old janitor that got hooked on meth that they had to fire, and they stole a bunch of turtles. But because they didn't want him to talk, they decided, they'd pay off some officials, maybe some judges, some jury, and they were able to whittle it down to just probation. So this man, luckily, he is still connected and was able to just get probation for his discretions against the reptilian elite. Yes, that is how it happened. Any questions?
No.
Was that succinct enough?
I think you just gave me answers.
I'm full of answers. Even when there's no answers, I will create those answers. They got sent back to their little hatcheries and homes back at the Turtle Sanctuary. And they lived happily ever after. Some were released back to the sea once they got healthy. Hey, there's a happy ending, except for the man with probation. We're having happy endings because normally my endings end in tragedy. But yes, they were safely returned and they lived out their life happily as regular old turtles. So we thought. Burn, burn, burn! Fade to black. Vegas. He's stirring up the chat. They were returned safely. This is my story, and I'm sticking to it. Diane, let's get to the booze.
Yes.
I'm going to reach into my lovely fridge. And tonight we'll be trying Dragon's Fire from Bishop Cider Company. Now, this booze is 6% alcohol per volume. It has a very, Dungeons and Dragons theme. On a quest for the best, Dragon's Fire. It's dragon fruit hard cider with hatch. Is it green chili or is it red chili? I'm going to go with green chili. But this looks interesting. But Bishop Cider Company. I'm going to read you the little tagline here. When our founders, Joel and Laura Malone, they're named after watermelons, I don't know, started making cider at home, it was out of necessity. The commercially available cider in Texas was trash. Just plain awful, overly sweet, artificial candy drinks. They sought to redeem cider. At Bishop, We make cider with ingredients that we can stand behind rather than hide from. We do not add additional sugar to our ciders. No cane sugar, fructose syrup, brown sugar, or even honey. The only form of sugar is juice and is all sourced domestically from the Pacific Northwest. All of our ciders are gluten-free, vegan-friendly, and made by Texans. That might be a strike against them. They are currently available all across of Texas.
Ooh, you're lucky the boyfriend left. Some choice words for you.
To find the locations nearest to you, Cider Finder. Wait, they have a Cider Finder website? Let me click on this. Oh, it told me they couldn't find the page that we were looking for. Well, fuck you, Obi-Wan.
I'm a little bit. I can't decide if this sounds delicious or like horrible.
It is a cold cider because I feel like this would be horrible warm. And Vegas Vargas says, "Hey Diane, throw this at Maverick." What are we throwing at Maverick? Oh, hey, look, my emoji as Karen.
I'm definitely gonna make him try some because he always gives me the speech about New Mexico. We hang our hats too much on our green chili.
Well, that's all we got.
I mean, it is true, and the meth.
Yes, but you know,
But
the meth is only. I mean, it only appeals to a very small demographic. Which, granted, it is a growing demographic, especially during this pandemic period. It's growing quite large. But Diane, cheers to the only thing we can hang our hat on proudly. I mean, unless you want to go with teen pregnancy.
that's a no. It almost tastes. Hold on. Congrats to diarrhea. I believe it.
Yes.
I believe it.
Now, if we could just finish this off with some Chico's tacos, a true El Pasoan favorite, painting the walls brown in no time. You're painting the town brown for that matter.
God, I can't wait till he gets back in here because I'm gonna make him try this. It is not good though. It kind of tastes like a clamato thing to me.
It does have a clamato.
I don't know if it's because it's like the spice, but something about it goes like it's a Bloody Mary or like the dragon fruit tastes like not sweet. It's not. I don't know how to describe it besides.
I'm just not sure chili goes with dragon fire. I mean,
chili doesn't go with dragon fire.
I mean, dragon fruit. Like, I don't know. It's an odd combination here. But yes, we are not playing Oregon Trail. Let's not go for dysentery tonight. Oh. Yes, Montezuma's Revenge. I mean, I feel like we've had worse on this podcast.
Yeah.
But
it's just because I think it's like the cidery bit kind of is like bitter too. So it's like this, it kind of tastes, I don't know. I'm trying to be nice and think of good words.
I just feel like the chili and the dragon fruit are battling each other. It's just do I hate it? Is it an interesting curiosity? Yes. But I don't know if I'd call it terrible. Well,
I don't think okay, like we always go with this scenario. If I showed up at a party and this is all they had, I would be
I would drink two.
devastated.
I would drink two, and I would be over it, and I would be taking my ball and going home.
I think what would happen is I'd either just be like, "Oh man, I'm okay, not drinking tonight," or
All
I
right,
would,
I guess I'm designated.
yeah,
But yeah, like
or I drink so many so quickly just because I'm like trying to get rid of it. Because after you drink a decent amount of anything, you kind of don't taste it anymore. So I could see myself getting crazy drunk just because I'm trying to slam them and not taste them, but still get drunk, you know?
yeah, I feel like
What was that? Oh,
a ghost. You saw here live a ghost. But Moonbeam Cider needs a little sweetness. Otherwise, what's the point? Just drink beer and call it a day if you want unsweet cider.
it tastes like, it really tastes like a rotten apple. Like, if you ever smelled a rotten apple, it's the exact taste that I'm getting right now. And I don't even know if it's heat. I don't even know what's going on with this chili thing. I don't know if it's adding flavor. I don't know what's going on, but I don't care for it. It tastes to me. I don't know if it's just fucking up my brain, but I keep thinking it tastes like a Bloody Mary. Like, I know there are no tomatoes, but my brain is telling me there are tomatoes in here.
I think it's because you put a little Tabasco in some Bloody Mary or some hot sauce, maybe some Cholula, or maybe a different type of doing michelada or something, with a little tahini around the outside. But it's not, yeah, because you're not getting really a lot of heat
But
from the chilies, but you can taste the chili part. Like, I feel like the chili comes like very forward, like there's this chilliness to it, and then it's sweet, and then it's weird.
I don't even think it's that sweet though. Like,
There's some sweetness.
there is a little bit, but I think it's from the rottenness of everything. It tastes like fungus.
Look, I'm trying to be positive here.
Maybe
I'm enjoying the novelty of this. I'm enjoying the novelty of it, but I can tell you this.
Mm-hmm.
These will probably sit around in the fridge for a while.
I'm not gonna lie. There's a good chance if I get to cleaning, I'm gonna drink all of these tonight. I think they're awful, but my desire to be drunk trumps how awful these are.
I would say taste has always been a secondary consideration in a party situation. I want to get something that I enjoy, but I also want to get as much bang for my buck.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy these. Too pricey.
Yeah. These were $10.49 at Western Beverages, because they don't have them here in New Mexico. So, but this is definitely it's a novelty thing. It's one of those things you buy to tell your friends, "Hey, did you try the Dragon's Fire? It's got chili in it." It's a very New Mexico thing.
Boyfriend, I need you to try
Yes,
this if you can hear me.
$10.49 for a 6-pack.
Come here. Come try this.
Yes, Maverick, come and try this weirdness.
Mm-hmm. It's got your favorite green chili. No, stop it, please.
Never, no.
You have to try. Just take a sip.
No.
A small sip.
No.
A
Green
small
chili?
sip. Maverick.
Hatch
Maverick.
chili?
Maverick. Maverick.
Maverick.
Maverick.
Before it
There's
goes
a
in the
whole
sink.
chant. There's a
Before it
thing.
goes in the sink.
No.
He's
No,
letting the people down.
No.
Just a sip.
No. Hatch chili can go fuck itself. Burn the whole damn fields to the ground.
Maverick's being a puss cake.
Okay. He'll be like, girlfriend, if you're going to the kitchen, can you get me a drink? I'll sneak it in there. You go and try some. I wanted him to do it of his own volition, but
You shouldn't have told him about the chili.
I shouldn't have. But I thought he already knew. I thought he was privy.
Wait, what? Okay, I just want to point out Streamlabs little bot. Maverick says, "Fuck Hatch chili."
So if it wasn't hatched, though, you would have it.
Vegas Vargas says, "I've seen vagina before," and then Streamlabs says, "Vegas Vargas, please refrain from using foul language." I didn't know vagina was more of a foul language than
My God, StreamYard. How anti-woman.
Hey. I am offended by the word bougie. God damn it.
It is a little bougie.
It is, but it was a curiosity. And that is how I do my beer selection. Does it pique an interest? Does it seem like it might be something terrible? I almost bought a bunch of peach shit, so be happy about it.
Wow. That's the case.
Because we were walking around and there was a bunch of peach shit, and the special lady was like, "Oh, look at this! This looks delicious." And I said, "Yeah, I should buy it. Diane would hate it."
I've had peaches are delicious. The Jolly Rancher Moonbeam sent us delicious
Yes.
because it actually tastes like peaches. Peach flavored stuff never tastes like peaches. It tastes like your grandma's linen closet. Like it's like a weird thing. I don't like it.
Oh.
Peaches are my favorite fruit. Peach flavored shit.
So right now I'm thinking I should have just bought 1 6-pack and you could add 3 and I could add 3. And I got 6 of these bastards in the fridge.
I'm gonna enjoy myself. I don't know what you upset about. I'm going to enjoy myself.
Well, yeah. I also have some pecan beer in the fridge too.
What's the alcohol content on these
6%. 6%.
How much is the average beer? I'll be honest, I don't know anything about alcohol content.
Beers are usually in the 5s.
I usually go, okay, what has the highest alcohol content? Grab me that, and that's how I shop beers.
Well,
any liquors, stuff like that.
Vegas is getting down on some whiskey.
Good Lord.
We've had our talks about whiskey.
I wish I could, but whiskey just is.
It just
memories.
Yeah, there's too many bad
flavored
nights.
Memories.
Too many bad nights on some whiskey. But Diane, shall we get to the combination booze in the news / topic of the week? First off, Mike's Hard Lemonade has 8%, and Moonbeam loves Mike's. No, that's not what I wanted to click on. But Mike's Hard Lemonade, there was a time when I enjoyed it, but it seems like lately every time I drink Mike's Hard Lemonade, I just get a headache.
Mike's has some of the best flavors, I think. I mean, they all have the same flavors, all those whatevers, but Mike's actually tastes good. Four Locos, though, 4% more alcohol. So.
Yes, I'm by the way, I'm still looking for the melon one that they came out with.
I think they had it at I don't know if it was sour melon, but they
No,
definitely
they had the watermelon. They didn't have sour melon. They had the regular watermelon.
Okay.
Because I keep finding the regular watermelon, but I have not found the sour melon yet. Yes, Diane would love to.
Yes, always. Everybody, let's go. Let's have fun.
Beers
You
for
know,
everyone, or for locos, or whiskey,
whatever, dude. Let's have a party. I'm so
Life
excited.
is but a dream.
Yeah. I'm no longer a shitty drinker. Like, have a good time, everybody. Let's gather around. Let's have a fun time.
You know what I'm just thinking is weird about this? It has fizz, but it tastes flat.
It does.
Like
Yes.
I cannot figure this out because at first it tastes like a flat like beer that was left out, but then suddenly it's fizzy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's strange.
I don't. How can it be flat and fizzy at the same time?
I'm not sure mine's not just flat. Like, okay. I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm assuming it's an independent company thing.
Yeah.
The last couple of times I've got like something where it's like clearly just an aluminum can and then somebody slapped a sticker on it, it has been awful.
No, the beers against humanity wasn't too bad.
Yeah. What was the cancer one?
Oh, that one was.
That one wasn't that bad, but I think it was also the helping of the cancer that also carried that through.
I thought it was fairly tasty, but for the price of the 4-pack, I don't know. I'm just happy that I went to cancer.
Well, I guess this is cider. I keep forgetting too. It's cider. It's not beer. It's a cider. So it shouldn't taste like beer-ish. But it just doesn't. I wish I could share with all of you.
I'm calling it out. This is nothing but a jobber. This is enhancement talent right away. It's a novelty. This is like Mantar or Atom Bomb, maybe Bastion Booger. It's just, none of those are necessarily jobbers, but just.
Well, Bastion Booger, like that should be the name of the beer or the cider.
This
Bastion Booger. If that's what Bastion Booger tasted like, I'd be like, yeah, dude, 100%. Had like a little Shrek ogre. I know that's not. I don't know who Bastion Booger is, but just like sold it as something nasty, I would buy it.
Oh,
but it is just gross.
It's something you do once and then you never want to do it again. It's
boyfriend, you have to try. I'm begging and pleading.
He needs to taste how terrible it is.
No. Never.
Why can't
just
you
do a little bit?
Why can't you just do things out of the curiosity of life?
Leave me alone, woman. I'm eating spaghetti.
Oh, he's eating spaghetti.
Well, there's plenty
you can't
more.
bug a man when he's eating his spaghetti.
My special lady brought me some macaroni and cheese and some baked chicken, and it was delicious.
You know what? I've been saying it tastes like a tomato-based booze anyway.
It might go really well with spaghetti.
I think it would be tasty with spaghetti.
That might actually bring the whole thing together. This might be something you can only drink with spaghetti.
Girlfriend, we'll make you a plate of spaghetti and try it.
Bastard. Anyways.
For science.
Let's move on to where's my notes?
I want you to just come over here and take a sip. Come on. Come on. Who's with me?
What a putz. Diane, Plane Ride from Hell. What did you know about it before watching Dark Side of the Ring?
Nothing.
Did you at least, you've never heard of the plane ride?
No.
okay. So
I honestly thought people were gonna die.
no, but they tried.
I mean, yeah.
What we thought Scott Hall was.
I mean, fuck. That's not hilarious. I guess that's. Would you like to?
So I've always had the plane ride from hell always presented in kind of a whimsical, oh, just some drunk wrestlers having some shenanigans on a flight. You know, it didn't sound as god awful as it was, but it was always presented through the WWE filter. You know what I mean?
I've never heard of it.
Like I was aware of like X-Pac cutting off Hayes's ponytail, and there was the fight in between Brock and Mr. Perfect, and they hit the door and they were all afraid it was going to the plane was going to crash and everything else. I'm aware of kind of that, but it's always been presented as a little lighthearted thing. And I knew of the Ric Flair stuff, but I want to break down like some of the lighter hearted stuff, which is interesting because I want to also. We'll get to this maybe towards the end. But like, okay, so one of the first things they talked about is on the flight over there, everybody was chill, nothing eventful happened. Nobody cares. Nice, lovely trip. And then I guess it kind of set up some of the story. A lot of the wrestlers were talked about oh hey, Cthulhu Luigi. Oh, that's a great fucking name right there. Thanks for the follow. Oh yeah. Cthulhuigi. That's amazing. That just warmed my heart right there. Cthulhuigi. That's
you know
perfect.
what that is? You know what? We need to have like a little thing when somebody comes in with a great name.
I know.
Because there's been some good ones. I'm always amazed.
Oh, and once again, this is Sheila. Just here for the hair metal stormtrooper. That's Sheila. She's always here. But I lost my train of thought. Oh, so this whole dark side of the ring. They talked about kind of the lighthearted stuff. The wrestlers were talking about how some of the stewardesses would party with them when they got to their destination. Like the first night, I guess they all went out, and Heidi is kind of the main stewardess that talk or flight attendant, whatever they go with now. I don't know what I think flight attendant is the proper term.
You could just call her a badass mamma jamma.
That's true. That woman had some serious class. Even just the way she kind of handled it and talked about everything that happened. I mean, classy lady, 100%. But they're going to talk about how they were partying with them, and I guess even like at the Insurrection pay-per-view, I guess Brock Lesnar like just whipped out his schlong and was like, "Hey, look at this!" And they're like, "Oh, don't sell it, don't sell it."
Yeah, what does that mean?
Basically, don't bring attention to it. Don't make a big deal out of it. Just let it lie. So it seems like every time something shitty happened to Terry Runnels, they're just like, don't sell it. So basically, one, don't draw a negative light to the company.
Mm-hmm.
And two, let's just not make a big deal out of it. Let's just let it go. Let it go. Push it off to the side.
So, okay.
So, and then Brock Lesnar was like, "Hey, Terry, want to see little Brock?" And she was like, "Beep. Oh, hang on. No, Siri, I don't want anything. I don't want to see little Brock. No, stop.
That would be great if just dick pics of Brock Lesnar. I'll be honest. I would love to see Brock Lesnar's dick just to be like, oh, that's what it looks like. Because I feel like It could be big, but it could also be teeny.
This
And
is
I'm
a
curious.
Batista situation. How big is his dick really?
I'm just saying, if it was out there, I'd take a gander. I mean, don't
So-
force it upon me, of course. But
Yes.
I'll take a look myself.
So you wouldn't no sell it. You'd at least go, thank you. Moving on. Yeah, so at the Insurrection pay-per-view, Brock Lesnar flashes Terry. Kind of a dickish thing. I was supposed to go through the minor stuff earlier, like Michael Hayes. Apparently, they think he got H-bombed, which is because I guess one of the big things is GHB and Halcyon was big back then. Like Halcyon is a benzodiazepine, a very strong sedative. Then GHB is another sedative. And I guess it was funny back in the day to just be dropping Halcyon in people's drinks.
That's one of the craziest parts of like that whole thing is everybody just being like, yeah, that's kind of what we do.
Yeah.
Because, okay, well, I'll let you steer where this is going.
But one of the things they were talking about, they think they dropped Halcyon in Michael Hayes' beer because he just walked up and just punched JBL in the head because I guess he got busted open in the pay-per-view earlier, and Hayes just hit him and just opened it back up. He was bleeding and then passed out, and then X-Pac came over and cut off his ponytail.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important to note that, like, okay, they were coming from Germany, right? Or where
They were coming from England, the
England.
UK.
UK, and they were on a plane and it got delayed.
Oh, yes, I skipped the fact. Yeah, it got delayed for 7 hours, and they went through 3 drink carts. And so they weren't on like a commercial flight. They were on a private charter. 757? But it's a large plane, and they had it, instead of 190 seats, it was down to like 50. And they had like kind of the main, like they still had like it separated between coach and like first class, which they called the lounge area, which is normally like a lot of sports teams would fly, and they'd have like all the coaches and the trainer, like all the important heads in the lounge area, and the athletes in the back area, which was still nice. And the drink carts weren't like just like normal, like they weren't using normal shooters like this. They had full liquor bottles.
Yeah.
And listen, Cthulhu felt awkward to have Insurrection pay for you not even mention a literal insurrection. But they sorry, I got distracted by the chat. Mark said,
You're doing great, chat.
Brock Lesnar was in DC that day, confirmed. That's hilarious. But so they were delayed for 7 hours, and the drink cart, instead of having just the little bottles, they went through 3 drink carts of full-size liquor bottles. And during that's when like Kurt Hennig went over and just put a bunch of shaving cream on Brock Lesnar's head and just splat. And then that's when they started fighting, and they were banging against the fuselage. And at one point, they hit the door. Everybody's freaking out. They want to listen to the flight attendants, and then even the captains came back there. And the captain was like, was trying to tell them, "Hey, man, you can't do it." And they're like, "Oh, fuck you," and whatever. So finally, JR had to come back there and break the whole thing up. And a lot of that stuff was pretty like just dumb, childish, drunken shenanigans. I mean, look, I'm not going to say I've never been involved in drunken shenanigans, but I'm
I
not
mean, that
sure
was,
I ever felt like getting into a fight on a plane.
well, it's one of those things where you're just like, yeah, you told me you couldn't move for 7 hours, but you gave them an open bar, and I'm just like, you thought they were gonna just sit there? No way in hell.
Oh,
Like
fucking A.
anybody, especially on a private flight. Like, I'm not trying. It's no excuse. Maybe a little bit, but yeah, what are you gonna do? Like,
And especially back in, because they mentioned like everybody was popping pills because WW, that was just the thing back then, is pills galore. And they did drug testing, but if you had a doctor's prescription, it was okay. So they had all these prescriptions for Halcyon and GHB and benzos and opiates and everything else. And the whole, I didn't even glance over one of the things that kind of creeped me out. Like you could, when RVD had mentioned that they like to H bomb people, and they mentioned they would drop Halcyon in local girls'
yeah,
drinks, and you could see him look, you could hear him because he sighed before he said it. He was like, "Oh, that was just a normal scene at some of the places that I went," and I was just like, you could tell he's just like, I really don't want to say this, but I know.
hmm
It just like I don't I don't know how to feel about being like, I don't want to hang out with a bunch of dudes that I think it's okay just to roofie a bunch of girls.
yeah.
I
That's
mean, I don't know how
that's what I think is interesting, and hopefully changing.
I would
I mean,
definitely
there's been
say,
some crazy shit with, that's happened with the Me Too movement and whatever, but I do think it is good that men are, at least there's a side there. That was a
yes,
normal thing that happened.
yeah.
Like, I'm not saying sides are the way to go, guys. Like, I'm just saying, like, at least, I don't know that that's wrong and fucking,
I would definitely say there has been a tone of regret in RVD's voice.
which is, because I don't know what to say about this, because I think some of the behavior was despicable. And I
Oh
don't
yeah,
think you just get to, I don't even know if I said that word right.
despicable,
Despicable. What did I say? Despicable?
despicable.
Despicable.
That's despicable. All right, Daffy.
Like, I'm never saying it's not, but it's like, I mean, when you hear Tommy Dreamer versus Rob Van Dam, and maybe that's why Rob Van Dam to me didn't seem, at least he seemed like he was like,
I would say RVD came off as remorseful. Like I don't know what he may have done in his past, but he did have kind of a past, and he's talked about some of his addictions and mistakes he made.
well, I don't know very much about Rob Van Dam except for he's Rob Van Dam. Like, that's what
The
I
whole
know about him.
Netflix show.
RVD, yeah. Like, I loved Rob Van Dam. I don't give a shit necessarily about Tommy Dreamer. And I don't know if I'm showing him more.
I haven't even gotten to the Tommy Dreamer shit. But see,
Yeah, well, because Tommy Dreamer is the real story. It's, and I get what he's saying. Like, okay, I will always play devil's advocate, but I get what he's saying, but it also makes no sense. Like,
yeah,
I get what he's saying, where he's like, well, she should, if it really fucked her up that bad, she shouldn't have just taken the money and gone.
we
I
haven't gotten
get
that
that
far.
sentiment.
I was trying to build
I know.
up. I was trying to build up
I
to
don't
it.
know what you're trying to do. You forgot a whole scenario.
I was trying to go in order, but I didn't forget the whole scenario. I was just kind of going through the smaller stuff, like the ponytail thing, and then going to talk about Dustin
just
Rhodes singing to Terry. And
Yeah, I guess it's just because, like, I don't know.
I was going to get to the Ric Flair incident. That's kind of the main crux.
Ric Flair is the only real huge, awful problem.
Everything.
Besides, what's his face, who also grabbed that chick.
Scott Hall. Although I will give Scott Hall the benefit of he was probably way too out of his mind with that whole thing. Honestly, I don't think he even knew where he was at that moment. Was it still? I'm not trying to make an excuse for him, but at the same time,
No.
like he legitimately says he doesn't remember it, and I believe that.
Yeah.
Who knows where he thought
Well,
he was?
when
knows?
half of the people are talking about we used to just drug each other, like
Yeah,
that was a fun thing. Like
that's the thing that I'm just like.
honestly, when Robin Dam was on there and he was even talking, I was like, I didn't know you were into some shit. Like I was shocked, but I also don't know him very much, I guess.
Yeah.
I just thought he was wholesome.
Rob Van Dam he was an ECW original. There's no wholesomeness in ECW.
I just really liked him. I don't know. You got me with the crowd participation. Like I don't know what to say.
Honestly, he didn't have very much.
I just have never heard anything, and then I was like, "You were there? What happened?"
No.
I was like, "Don't."
And Just Incredible wasn't. He didn't do anything too awful. The only thing he really did was drag Scott Hall off when they thought he was dead,
which is crazy, though. I don't even know who you'd be upset with. Like that. Hey,
yeah.
Somebody lands and you think they're dead. Weekend at Bernie's. Like everybody's
kind of what he did. He kind of weekend at
like,
Bernie's.
throw him in the fucking wheelchair. We'll put some glasses on and pretend he has a disability. Like, okay.
Okay. Let me get to this. So this is how the Ric Flair thing had always been presented. Well, hello. Sorry for a little interruption of the podcast. It is I, the Reverend JP, up at the wee hours of noon to give you a little explanation. Normally, on a live stream, they were on Twitch, I did a screen share, showed a little tweet from David Bixenspan where he showed some clips of WWE Story Time, and I believe it was an ESPN 30 for 30. It was a little cartoon, made real lighthearted segment of Ric Flair flashing stewardesses, and they made it seem like it was all fun, and the stewardesses were in on it, and they wanted to be part of it, and everything else. So it was just a little thing to show kind of the presentation of how the Plane Ride from Hell was originally reported as more of a whimsical situation instead of what kind of went down on Dark Side of the Ring. But yeah, YouTube didn't like it, got a copyright strike, so instead you got me here filling in space, and yeah, that's what happened. Now back to Reverend JP and Diane as we regularly scheduled. My bad. Been kind of a little whimsy, a little fun thing. You know, nothing terrible happened, but then to hear the firsthand from Heidi that Ric Flair, like, okay, so I get being around you're a bunch of friends, you're drunk, and you do stupid stuff. I've been around a bunch of drunk dudes. Dicks come out sometimes. I don't know why. It happens. Dicks are funny. But
same goes for chicks. We'll bust out the boobs.
That's true. I've been around some parties where some boobies pop out. It just it's all in good fun until somebody's cornered in the back.
I was hanging out with a homie. She stood up on on a rotating chair, like a spinny office chair.
Maverick, you have never seen a dick in your drunken circles? I feel like you're hanging out with the wrong people. I mean,
I'm actually a little bit shocked to hear that.
Yeah,
maybe I'm hanging out with weird people, but you get drunk and body parts fall out a lot.
Yeah, but in a fun, playful manner. When you're cornering people in the back galley,
when you're forcing them
trying to get people to touch stuff, that's a whole different situation.
Like,
Because the whole thing is
okay.
yes, fun and playful weenies.
To me, okay, the thing with the Tommy Dreamer, are we there yet? Where are we?
We can jump into Tommy Dream because this is where he started making a bunch of excuses.
Yeah.
Because at first he's like,
I can
"Oh,
understand wanting to stand up for your friend, but like also his stupid like I have double ponytails. Like just I'm offending somebody right now just by is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
yes."
Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Like at first, like I said, I get him in the beginning defending and being like, "Oh, hey, it's Ric Flair. That's what he does. He pulls out the rope. He swings his dick around. He helicopters it. He,
I get that frame
I mean,
of logic.
like I've said, I've seen a few helicopter weenies in my life, especially if you're hung like a horse and you're drunk and stupid. Sometimes,
I would say, like, okay, to me, the Tommy Dreamer thing is his morals are a little off, but his morals are also telling him, like, that's my friend. I'm not gonna like.
Maverick, are you more shocked that I've seen people like I've had friends that just swing their dicks around? I feel like I don't know. It's just I've seen it happen. It's just okay. You should be jealous. But yes, like I get the whole bit about especially Ric Flair strutting down there and then suddenly just woo. I would laugh too if I was in that situation. If I was just chilling, having some drinks.
I would laugh.
And
but don't make me try to grab your fucking dick.
Yeah. Especially being cornered in the back room and she's saying no. Like as soon as you go, woo, and she goes, nah, I'm not into it. But the one thing that was kind of interesting though, I don't know if you caught the JR part where he goes, there's rules to the party, and if you know Ric Flair and you don't want to be part of it, you go to the room. But if you don't know the rules, that's when I kind of was like, JR, what the fuck else do you know? Because JR has been around.
Knows a lot.
JR has been
seen a lot.
He's been in all the promotions from.
I never knew he had to deal with so much stuff. I thought he was a guy who came and talked.
Oh yeah, because
I didn't know he was like that involved in stuff like firing people, like stuff like that. I had no clue.
Yeah, he was head of talent relations. He's had a lot of different positions because, like he said, he's been throughout all kinds of wrestling promotions throughout his life. And when he just that whole thing of the way he kind of sighed and was like, you could see him trying to be like, how do I put this in a non-shitty way? You know what I mean? And with that, just there were certain things I was like, oh, what else happened that we don't know about? Because
I'm sure JR knows some shit.
Oh yeah, I mean, JR's been on pretty much every single Dark Side of the Ring. Hell, you could probably make 2 seasons of Dark Side of the Ring about Vince McMahon alone. I mean, Vince McMahon has been a subject of multiple Dark Sides of the Rings.
That's crazy, though. That's crazy. And I was saying, like, it's a shame Ric Flair didn't get in trouble, but I also, I'm not shocked.
So what has happened recently is they did cancel Ric Flair's Car Shield commercials. And I have my doubts that he will be appearing in AEW anytime soon.
Oh, well.
And then Tommy Dreamer has been suspended from Impact Wrestling. Because, like I said, at first he was just
the craziest comparison, though. Like, it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, because at first I was like, okay, he's trying to, support a friend but then I was just like, oh no, you're just That's dumb. The more
I
you
don't-
talked, I was like, "What are you doing? What do you mean?"
At first, Tommy Dreamer was just kind of unlikable, but there was a couple of things that got to me. One was when he said the whole, somebody got offended. I would be offended too if somebody starts swinging their dick and told me to touch it.
Yeah,
If
forced me to touch it.
Yeah,
It's not even told me to touch it.
if I want to touch a dick,
Force me to touch
if I want to touch your dick, I'll be like, hey, okay, let me touch the dick. But
I'll touch your dick, but it'll be a problem. You're gonna need to see somebody.
I mean, like, no, I'm saying like somebody's forcing. Like, if this is a mutual thing, and we're like, oh, hey,
Yeah, if he would have walked out, I'm chilling in my seat. I'm not on my job, trying to do my work, take care of your stupid fucking drunk ass.
yeah,
Like, I got to make it home to a baby. Like, and then you're up here running around half naked. Like,
yes,
and then you try and make me touch your dick. Like, are you serious?
that's, I mean, maybe she could have touched and gave him a second circumcision or something. I don't know, or maybe first. I don't know.
I don't
know what it
mind
looks like.
the idea. Let me be honest. The idea of Ric Flair like walking down the aisle of anything, flashing his dick makes me laugh. Doing the whole we thing with the dick thing, yeah. But that's my sense of humor. The second he makes it somebody else's problem or makes it to where like, okay, now you're a part of this without even,
Yeah,
it's too much. That's what makes me go, fuck you. I'm not even saying the humor is wrong.
being cornered is where the second he cornered her,
And
I'm
she
gonna
made it clear she didn't want anything to do with it.
yeah.
That's when it's like, all right.
Now, if
And
he
I
would have
get-
been,
I wouldn't suggest anybody do that.
oh yeah,
I
like,
wouldn't suggest anybody do that, but I will admit that some people are going to laugh, find
Yeah.
it hilarious.
if you go,
I would have
woo,
laughed,
somebody doesn't like it, that's when you go.
but
you
then
know
you
what?
fucking grab my hand and make me grab your dick, like, yeah, fuck
No.
you.
Exactly.
I'm all for the flair of the flair, but it's also like if somebody's an unwilling participant, that's where it's like, all right, buddy.
It's humor's a two-way street. If the audience, i.e., that lady, doesn't find it funny, it's not funny, and that's the whole thing. As soon as she was not into it, I mean, you got to read the room. And maybe the boys get a good laugh out of it on a regular basis, but you're not with the boys right now. There's some other people there.
You're harassing someone at their job.
I know.
Like, that's one of the bigger problems too.
This
Like,
poor lady's just trying to serve you drinks and get you home.
yeah, she couldn't even tell you what she thought, even if she wanted to, without worrying about her job. So it's kind of like, like I hear Tommy Dreamer when he says, "Oh, that's Ric Flair," and the blah blah blah. I get that mentality, but it's also like,
But at the same time, this is my thought.
he hurt
Okay,
somebody. She was emotionally scarred from it. Number one, and number two, his fucking thing he threw out there to make it go like, you see, I'm also upsetting people by just doing this.
that's a different
So
thing.
that
Like,
somehow equals or equates what happened
No.
to her and all this shit. It was just the craziest thing I've ever fucking heard.
yeah,
Where I'm
And it-
just like, okay, you just dumb.
and that
You're just
that was
dumb.
only one of the first things he said that was stupid.
He's,
But
I don't know.
I used to like, of course, I used to like Ric Flair too. But now hearing more of that story, I'm like, you know what?
My opinion on Ric Flair hasn't changed. I'm sure he was fun because that's always been my opinion of Ric Flair. It's fun,
Yeah,
but like, yeah, the fact that like you did some bad things.
I would say the biggest issue is is it's been made into this
You just gotta understand
into a bunch
though,
of
that you did
gags.
that.
It's become like not only did he get away with doing something, now it's been made into a joke. And then watching that cartoon, clearly the blonde one with the bodacious tatas would have been
The girl in question.
yes. And I want to say that was really impressive about the way she's like, even with the other things she said, she's like, "Oh, I wasn't in concern that he was going to assault me. I wasn't, it was just uncomfortable and I didn't like it." So there was very much, I think she realized the situation of it, but at the same time, she's telling her story to keep people aware of, don't do shit like this. Other people don't appreciate it. And then even same with the Scott Hall situation, where he grabbed her shirt. She was like, "Oh," where she even said, "I don't want to say afraid for my life because that sounds too dramatic, but I felt violated."
Yeah. I mean, shit like this happens all the time to females. And that's what like people don't understand. Is
And that's
like,
a problem.
I've had some really awkward situations with men where I'm just like, in what world is this just how this works? Like,
I know.
it's like, why would you assume, especially now? Okay, I get what Tommy Dreamer was saying. Like, back then, it was no big deal. But it should have been.
Yeah.
And that should be what you take from that.
And that's the
Not
problem.
so much like, oh, I'm offending everybody. It was a weird stance.
Like RVD was, it was normal back then. Tommy was like, "Oh, that's just how the boys did things.
Yeah.
Boys will be boys."
He was just like, fuck. Sometimes
then,
I don't.
And the other thing
I'm not trying to say anybody's a bad person, but it's also, I don't understand when people have no sense of self-preservation. Where it's just like, dude, hey, maybe not say the girl deserved it, or like, hey, like, I don't know. It's like, okay, you don't care about this person. I'm not asking you to.
But
as far as you're concerned, you didn't do anything to her, blah, 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 blah. That's your friend. All right. I'm not going to ask you to take it personally or care for the person who you don't know. I'm not asking that. But to me, I'm also like, why would you go out there and say all that?
I know.
That's the craziest thing I've ever fucking heard. And how dumb. How stupid.
So I was at my lovely lady friend's house, and that's where we watched it. And I was like, "Oh, it's Plane Ride from Hell. I want to see this. This might be interesting." So we're sitting there, we missed a few minutes of it, but then we were sitting there watching it, and Tommy Dreamer said some stuff, and I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "Oh, is it just me, or is Tommy coming off really unlikable?" And she goes, "Yeah, I don't know who that guy is, but I don't like him." And then we were watching a little bit more, and then he said the whole thing about the ponytail. I'm like, "What the fuck?" But then
that's the dumbest part. Because
well, that's the dumbest part. But the
sympathy, not sympathy. Is it sympathy or empathy?
Empathy.
Empathy takes 2 seconds, and it don't afford. Like you can do it. I get what he's saying, but then it just was like, okay, even if that's your friend, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard anybody say ever. As far as a comparison of like,
sometimes you got to stop and look and be like, maybe my friend's kind of a dickhead. Maybe I shouldn't excuse this behavior.
Because that might have been Rob Van Dam, as far as I'm concerned. He could have very well he took the time to choose the words. Yeah. And to maybe even be a little bit more empathetic.
Yeah.
Fucking Tommy Dreamer just was stupid.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I don't even know if you're a bad guy or not, but all I know is you're dumb.
Yeah.
Dumb as fuck.
It it came off at first. It just came off unlikable and bad, and then it just became, bro. Like especially the part where he's like, "Oh, well, why don't you just take the money and not, prosecute this guy to the full extent of the law?" And it's like, first off, you have to understand when stuff like this happens. Like poor Heidi, like the company she works for is like, don't sell it, like, oh, just keep it on the down low. I'm sorry this happened to you, but we have important clients. We need to respect client confidentiality. And then you got the company. She's like, when they're talking about cleaning up the plane afterwards, and it was full of blood, syringes, and vomit, and God knows what other body fluids. And she was just like, nah, I ain't cleaning this plane. Fuck this.
I feel like these ciders should be shaken before they're drank.
Yeah.
Like, I was half tempted, but then I was like, no, it's probably not a good idea.
Yeah, shake it and then open it.
I don't know.
But it was just so bad.
Dumb. I feel bad for JR.
I know, like, because then the other thing that was interesting,
because nobody should ever have to babysit an adult ever.
Yeah,
I mean, I know there's like situations,
and he even had said that. He was like, "Oh, I shouldn't have to tell grown men to be an adult."
Yeah.
And then when they were talking about the
I've
people
been
like Kurt Hennig got fired, Scott Hall got fired like hours after he got off the plane. I'm guessing once he sobered up and could understand where he was at. And then Dustin Rhodes got fined because he was using the back folder as a spittoon. And he got fined for that. But Ric Flair, nothing happened. And they asked Ric Flair, they asked JR, well, didn't Ric Flair get punished? And he said no. And he said, well, why didn't he get punished? And there's that whole part where he's like, oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
And then is Mike over there helicoptering? Is that what's happening?
No, I'm on the bed, so I got all kinds of wiggle situation. I was just readjusting.
I thought that was a helicopter situation.
You.
But yeah, because I was gonna say, I was like, oh, let's go when we go click it off. Let's see this helicopter situation. What was I gonna say?
I'm not even too much booze is also a part of that situation, but also
definitely booze,
but
drugs.
also self-control.
Yeah,
maybe try it.
Like, okay, I'm gonna go with I have been extremely fucked up in my life. I've done some stupid things. But there was always a point where I was able to kind of been like, you know what? Maybe this isn't the best idea. I've been able to reel it in to a certain point. Sometimes you're in the party atmosphere, which honestly you're on a plane ride back to your home. So I don't know. But either way, that's a weird party situation. But I wasn't a professional wrestler in the early 2000s. But yes, this is an interesting. Wonder if Tommy would feel the same way if it was his daughters that Ric Flair went after.
Yeah, I think the part of it is there's a lack of empathy. I'm willing to say that maybe Ric Flair wouldn't have done that if he was sober. I'm willing to give you that. I'm willing to say that he thought it was okay. I'm willing to not say or to say that he didn't have ill will when he went into doing this. But the fact of the matter, it doesn't matter. It turned out this way.
Yes.
So then this is where taking responsibility comes in.
And there was, and instead of being made responsible, it was made into cartoons and made into a joke. Which, honestly, watching that cartoon after knowing the details further what happened, could you imagine being that poor woman and seeing that cartoon and being further
Yeah.
objectified
It's bullshit.
and humiliated in that.
I don't know. I won't speak for her either because I don't know that lady.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know
don't
the
know.
lady either. I'm not picking sides of anything, but I'm just like this whole situation is kind of like
Well, I'm gonna pick sides because clearly
everybody
it was
everybody
wrong.
knows. Everybody knows. The thing is, everybody knows Ric Flair fucked up.
Oh,
Fucking
100%.
Dustin Rhodes though came out looking like a decent person, a little
Yeah.
fucked up and damaged, but out of that thing, it sounded like he tried to at least
Yeah, because he's the one that
be
went
like,
over
"Hey, leave
there.
her alone."
So hey, you need to. And she didn't mention that she thinks because I guess the Ric Flair incident happened before the singing on the PA system happened, and she would say like she thinks she's
Yeah,
like, oh,
that's
I wonder
why
if
she
that's why
wasn't-
she didn't get so mad about the PA system. It was because he came and helped her.
But good on him. That makes me feel good that Gold Dust
Yeah,
was fucking.
I feel
She'll
bad for
do.
the other thing that I feel bad for Terry too is when she made the statement. She's like, "Oh, if I filed a lawsuit for every
I
time something like that
know.
happened to her," she said she'd be in court for the rest of her life. I was like,
And that's most females' experience.
"Yeah,
though, to some degree. When she said that, I was like, I know what you're saying, but
you could think about how much more it would be cranked up being in locker rooms with a
yeah,
bunch
of
of idiots."
course.
Do you know how many dicks have probably been helicoptered at her without consent?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know what you want me to say. I'm like, yeah, dude, it sucks.
I'm just
Not
saying
fun.
that it's just fucking.
Yeah, it probably was not great. Don't sell it.
I don't. Then that's the other thing too is like always having to be like, don't sell it. Being like, oh, what do you mean? This guy tried to fucking mushroom stamp me. Jesus Christ, that's fucking absurd.
I don't know.
I like. Okay,
I love
wrestling, professional wrestling.
Ric Flair, but also I don't know. Ric Flair is a hard one, and I'm gonna explain this,
Okay,
and I'm not trying to be shitty.
all right.
But that's who Ric Flair was kind of sold as. So I think also that's why people are like, yeah, Ric Flair.
Yeah, and that's why he got so much of a pass.
Yeah.
But-
And that's what, well, and also he was over by then and he made them so much money
Yeah,
that you're not going to be like, oh, what? You tried to make a girl grab your dick? Okay, I'm just going to throw away hundreds of thousands of dollars.
well, one of the things we've seen from Vince McMahon over the years, he's not afraid to sweep things under the rug
Yeah.
in any way, shape, or form.
Most people aren't, but
Well, even if like you look at the history of WWE, most of his greatest successes happened by accident, and then all of the big scandals that have happened around him have all somehow just been brushed aside. It just,
I just feel for that lady.
oh yeah,
What was her name? I'm sorry. I didn't.
the Heidi.
I was Heidi.
Guys, I don't know if they said her last name, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That poor woman.
She seems like a kind person.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel for her.
And it changes how I feel about Tommy Dreamer and Ric Flair, to be honest. Like I said, I get the personality that Ric Flair, the persona that Ric Flair has.
I'm not shocked. Like I was like, Ric Flair did that? Yeah. A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Tommy Dreamer saying that stuff, I was kind of also like, yeah, because he's of an older mindset, but like
Still.
I can't believe it's the minimization of the comparison
Oh,
that makes me go like, I don't. You're like gone. Nobody will ever express to you why that's worse than the double ponytail. Like I don't know what to.
yeah. So this is an apology they put on Twitter. Regarding my comments on Dark Side of the Ring, it was never my intention to offend, hurt, or victim shame anyone. I understand my comments were insensitive and could trigger emotions in someone's own personal past. I do not condone sexual misconduct of any kind. I apologize to anyone I offended from the bottom of my heart.
But that's not what you said.
I know.
You basically went, I'm going to offend anybody no matter what.
I know. And then the thing is he gets suspended from, because Impact, he has a lot of, because I think he's actually in charge of the women's division. I think he does a lot of the creative for the women's division at Impact, if I remember correctly, or did. And like, how do you stand in front of a bunch of women in the wrestling industry, knowing you said all this stupid bullshit, and be like, I don't think anyone could ever feel comfortable coming to him in a situation ever again.
No.
I don't know if anybody could, to be honest. And like, I get you're trying to do an apology and save your butt as much as you can. I get that, but you need to own it a lot more than that. That was a very bullshit. That was very much like, I'm sorry.
I really feel like he didn't want to throw his friend under the bus. He didn't want to add to like being shitty.
I get that.
But he chose the like basic, I don't understand anything about anything argument.
This is easy. This is what he could have said. Very simply.
Nothing, really.
No, like he could have said, this was Ric Flair being Ric Flair. But when he cornered that woman, that was unacceptable. It could have been very easily in Dark Side of the Ring to just be like, I do not agree with his actions at that point, and it was appalling.
He could have easily said nothing about it, period. I don't know what his deal was. All I know is he's stupid.
I don't know.
At this point, like, okay, you can be a shitty people. I don't expect people to be good people. That's too much to ask. I honestly believe it.
Yeah.
But like, my thing is like, you have no self-preservation. Not even a little bit. You can't even take the 2 seconds to realize, like, to even think, like, okay, if this happened to me, if Ric Flair tried to make me grab his dick, how would that make me feel?
And like, that's what empathy is. It's just simply being like, I understand that situation you're in.
You don't even need to know her. This woman had a baby at home. She was excited just to even take this job, just to stay in her hotel room and not have to be woken up every 2 seconds.
Yeah, because one of the
here
things
she is.
Like one of the things she said in the beginning is the first night she'd go have drinks with them after the house show in Germany, but the rest of the European tour, she stayed in her hotel room and enjoyed having peaceful nights.
She was not about the party life. And I know it doesn't matter. And you know it doesn't matter. That's the thing too. You know what I mean. And if you don't know what I mean, I can't be bothered to fuck with you either. But like, it's just dumb. The whole thing's dumb. It was just like Tommy Dreamer was.
Yes. Like, that's true. His statement is, I don't condone sexual misconduct. Unless you're one of my friends and a colleague that I respect greatly, then, misconduct sexually as much as you want.
I get his feeling. I don't even know. Are they good friends like that? I could just be making an excuse for a man who just wants an excuse. But like,
I'm going to go with probably, because Tommy Dreamer's been around the business for a while too. I'm sure they've definitely got some sort of a friendship and relationship, because Tommy's been backstage as producers, and
it's just one
Tommy
of those
Dreamer's been with TNA, Ric Flair's TNA. They've been in the same companies for a long time.
And even if he was trying to help out his friends, say we're going to give him that sympathy, he probably fucked his friend over more than anybody else did, because we're all talking about him.
Oh
and we're
yeah.
talking about what he had to say about him. So, like, even if he was trying to be a good friend and be like, "Oh, that's on her, not him," he made it 10 times worse for his buddy.
Oh yeah. Like,
Being a fucking idiot.
Ric Flair, all he had to do was just be like, "Oh, look, I drank too much." Like, there's no real excuse, but at least own the fact that you were being an asshole. You know what I mean? At least own it and realize you made a mistake.
If I was Ric Flair, I would call Tommy Dreamer up and be like, "Don't use my name anymore."
Actually, no. Ric Flair would
Don't
probably
say
call Tommy and be
nothing.
like, "Hey, if you ever want to talk about me and distract from any of the stupid things I've did,
Maybe
talk
try.
about me all you want. Because your
Well,
career
no,
suffering, not mine."
I don't know. I think it still draws more. I would be like, dude, I as a it, God forbid, and hopefully never. If anything like that happened to me, I'd be like, or just don't say anything. Like, don't try to defend me on some stupid show. Just don't say anything.
I know. I mean, honestly, Tommy Dream could have just easily said, "You know what? I don't want to be part of it."
Yeah, just don't.
Because Darkseid asks people if they want to talk about it. And,
Yeah.
like,
You wanted the attention, you got the attention, Tommy. You're
Yeah.
stupid.
the other thing I want to mention too is, so it was mentioned several times that Vince McMahon was on the flight and so was Linda. Because I was trying to keep count. I know at least Terry, Heidi, and Mike Chioda all said Vince was on the flight. Jonathan Coachman said that no, Vince and Linda were not on the flight. And there was a whole Twitter dust up between him and Coachman. But my whole thought is it's always been said that Vince is on the flight. And more than one person said, JR, he said Vince was aware of it. So I don't know. But from what I understood, that what was said in the lounge was Terry, JR, Vince, Linda. I'm guessing Mike Chioda must have been up in the front because he seemed to only know about some of the goings on. Which
You have to
I would say
raise
Mike Chioda
like a
kind
piss
of
horse, Justin.
no.
We either need to wrap this up or I need to pee.
On that note,
Sorry for the listeners, but I'm just being honest. I'm sitting on a bed. I'm not about to be on the bed or the floor.
Pee.
I'm not just. Yeah, start the chant. See what happens.
I know it's not the same. It's funnier when they chant at me.
I know. You are so fun to chant at.
All right.
I could take you into the bathroom.
No, that's just weird.
I tried.
All right. So for the sake of Diane's bladder, I'm just gonna cut it off here. You know, moral of the story is, don't be a Ric Flair and make people touch your dicks or vaginas, respectively, and don't be a Tommy Dreamer and excuse horrible goings on. It's just some bullshit. But that has been Best of the Bottom, or bottom class people drinking bottom shelf booze. And for the sake of Diane's bladder, check us out live here, twitch.tv/bottom class every Monday, 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. If you're watching us here on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification button, get the bell on, do all those YouTube-y things people like to shout at you, and get the notification.
Sorry.
Diane's dying over here. We have a website, Perico Productions, at pericoproductions.com, and we also have audio versions of this podcast available at bestthebottom.podbean.com. And thank you very much. And, you know, give us a follow, give us a subscribe, you know, all things respectively. And you can find all of our social medias at the Best of the Bottom, and also those social medias at the bottom. Instagram at Bottom Class, Twitter at Bottom Class as well. And it's been lovely seeing you. Good night, good news, and join the family. Bam.
Tasted pretty good.